Hey everybody, Dr. Tim and Rocky here today. I am really excited to go over this next episode talking about your hands, your wrists. What's the symptom called again, Rocky?
It's called carpal tunnel syndrome. It's a
Carpal
mouthful.
tunnel syndrome. All right, all right.
Right.
Now, let's how many people suffers from carpal tunnel syndrome?
Yeah. About 3% of the US population can experience carpal tunnel syndrome.
I mean
And
that's quite a bit.
yeah, it is. And the chances of diagnosing the condition increases as you get older. So
Oh.
a lot of our viewers have questions about carpal tunnel syndrome. So, Dr. Tam, can you tell us more about what carpal tunnel syndrome is?
Well, so if you look at a carpal, right? Carpals is your hands, okay? And the tunnel to the carpal travels around your wrists because the nerves and the muscles from your hand actually comes down from your forearm. And there's a band right here, okay? It's about 2 to 3 fingers thick, right at the wrist. The band's on top, and think about the band being like a bridge, and the bottom of the band is the tunnel underneath the bridge that all the muscles and nerves has to go through. Now, here's what happens. When you overuse your hand, what happens is it starts to inflame the carpal tunnel area. Now, when the carpal tunnel becomes inflamed, this band starts to get thicker, right? As it gets
Mm-hmm.
thicker and then it starts swelling and inflammation starts settling in, now what happens is the nerves and the muscles underneath starts getting crushed. So you no longer can have good functioning hands anymore because, well, that band got so thick, it's crushing all the muscles and nerves underneath. So when that gets crushed, boom, you start getting hand problems. One of the diagnoses is doing this actually to your hands, putting them together, right? And then bringing your elbows down. If you can put them together and bring your elbows down, and it starts zingers go down your hands, there's a high chance that you have carpal tunnel. All right. Another way of getting carpal tunnel, or not so much a way, but to diagnose it, is if you press right here, it's going to be hot and warm. If you press right here, there's a band of muscles there that's really sore. That can increase your chance of carpal tunnel. And that's where people should be doing our hand and wrist stretches online. So we're going to include that in our in the video as well, a link of it as well.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned earlier that people can get this if they overwork their hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
What other causes, or what other things can cause carpal tunnel syndrome?
Well, poor ergonomics, overuse, right? Wrist problems sometimes can mimic carpal tunnel. So some studies show that up to 50% of all carpal tunnel surgeries are actually unnecessary. Now, why is that? That's because in order to do surgery for carpal tunnel, it's got to be so bad where it's irreversible. Okay, where the band of ligaments become almost like scar tissue and you can't reverse it. Now, because even if you had carpal tunnel, you can get it from typing too much at the wrong angle, typing too much in general.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You could be on your phone too much, right? People who do this all day might end up with some form of carpal tunnel, right? Maybe you are a bus driver or a driver. You're gripping the steering wheel really tight all the time. That can pose as a problem. I mean, there's so many different things that can cause problems, with carpal tunnel, right? A lot of times athletes, they play sports, they're gripping really, really tight for a long time. But then they end up with, elbow problems, which it can be like golfer's elbow or tennis elbow.
Yeah.
That's a whole talk in itself.
Right, right. And it was also said that women can is more prone to get this condition. Is that true?
I think it could be. Is there a rhyme or reason behind it? I don't know. But off just the base off the top of my head, depending on when the study came out, right? There were more women at admin jobs, right? You know,
Yeah.
especially if you look back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? But there are also, ladies usually have smaller wrists, right? So because you have smaller wrists, if you don't develop the strength for your forearm, your shoulders, your back, then what happens is your hands will end up getting the brunt of the problem. So
Mhm.
that can be a problem as well.
Right, right. All right. Okay. And it was also said that carpal tunnel syndrome, the symptoms can
Mhm.
be worse at night.
Yes, because towards the end of the day, you usually use it more, right? But here's the key thing is you got to make sure you take good care of it. In the chiropractic world, we do adjustments to your hand. So it actually adjusts the carpal tunnel. So it realigns and opens up the tunnel pretty much. I show
Okay.
patients stretches. You can laser that area. If there's arthritis or it's been really, really compressed, there's a possibility to do regenerative therapy in that area as well. So there's a whole slew of things. The key thing is figuring out what's wrong. Most of the time, at least 50% of the time, it's usually due to neck problems, shoulder and elbow problems. If you don't take care of those things, your wrist is not going to work well.
Hmm. Yeah, because I think there's a nerve from your neck that's connected to your wrist,
Yeah,
right?
there's actually three nerves.
Hmm.
You have your C6, C7, and C8. Those nerves all go into your hands. So they run
Hmm.
through that carpal tunnel.
Right. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Tam, for giving light to this condition. So, on our next episode, we are going to talk more about carpal tunnel syndrome, like how we can manage it better and how to prevent it as well. So, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Rocky. See you soon.
All right.